Hey, what is up, guys, and welcome back to the FCS Football channel. And today we're back for another episode of Premier League preview. Now, before we get into this week's fixtures, let's look at last week's fixtures and let's see how well I did. So, the first game of the game week, we had Crystal Palace versus Arsenal, and Arsenal won 2-0, and looks like we have our first correct prediction of the series. First game, first correct prediction. I went 2-0, and obviously it finished 2-0. Arsenal playing very, very well, especially in that opening half. Second half, Crystal Palace did gain more control of the game, but a 2-0 win for Arsenal. They'll take that every single day of the week. Second game was Fulham versus Liverpool. Now, I think this is probably the kind of surprise of the weekend. No one expected Fulham to get anything from this game. And on another day, they could have won this game. They were fantastic. I predicted 4-0. Liverpool, it finished 2-2. Bournemouth versus Aston Villa. Finished 2-0 to Bournemouth. Again, I think a lot of people had Aston Villa to win this game. I had Aston Villa to win this game. I actually thought it would be 2-0 the other way to Villa. So, Bournemouth getting off to a good start to their season. Then we have Nottingham Forest versus Newcastle. I thought Nottingham Forest would play better than they did in that game. Nottingham Forest was actually quite poor. And given the signings that they had made, you expect them to be better. However, they have now made more. Midfield, I thought they looked particularly poor against Newcastle. And with that Frula coming in from Atalanta, they will certainly be better in that situation. But I said 1-0. That finished 2-0. Then we have Spurs versus Southampton. Now, I was very close with this one. I did predict a Spurs win, and a Spurs win in convincing fashion. And we got that. I said it would actually be 3-0 to Spurs. It finished 4-1. So, if you're looking at goal difference, Spurs got a +3 goal difference. So, I'll give myself half a point for that. Then moving on to another correct prediction. Leeds versus Wolves. I said it'd be 2-1 Leeds, and what was it? It was 2-1 Leeds. And what can I say? I'm a prophet. Absolute prophet. Then we had Everton versus Chelsea. I said 1-0, and I said it would be a closer game than a lot of people expected. Everton had their chances. Obviously, the goal that Chelsea did score was from the penalty spot. So while I said 1-0, I'm going to give myself half a point, given how close the game was, and realistically, that game could have quite easily been a 1-0 draw. We then had Leicester versus Brentford. I said 2-0 Leicester, and it was 2-0 Leicester for a long duration of that game, but Brentford fought back, opening goal obviously through Ivan Toney, and then Josh Da Silva with a fantastic goal from the edge of the box to share the points between the two. Then we have Manchester United versus Brighton. The less said about that, the better, really. I said United would win 2-0. We obviously lost 2-1. I don't know if I said that in the Premier League preview or in the match review, but I did say I wouldn't be surprised if we lost the game, but I did think we'd win. I did have more confidence in us. But nevertheless, we lost, didn't we? 2-1. I said 2-0. So that's just a bad prediction. Final game of the weekend was West Ham versus Manchester City. Now, I said it would be, Man City would win the game, but I did say it would be fairly close. 2-0, maybe a little bit flattering. West Ham did have their chances. They played fairly well in spells. So, I said it would be 2-1 Man City. It was 2-0. I'll give myself half a point for that. Who's your top four in order? Well, obviously, I've done, if you want to see a whole Premier League kind of prediction, then you can go. You can find that on my channel. My top four at the start of the season was Man City, Liverpool, Man United, and Arsenal in that order. As you can see, I'm a Man United fan, so there is certainly some bias in that. But given that that's how the Premier League table, that's how the Premier League games finished. This is how the Premier League table looks coming into this weekend's fixtures. So Spurs do sit top of the table with 3 points and with a 3 goal difference. Then in second, we have Arsenal, then Bournemouth and Manchester City rounding up the top four. Newcastle and Brighton sit in the Europa League spots, while Leeds are in the UEFA Conference League spots. Moving down into mid-table is where we find Liverpool and Manchester United in 12th and 13th, while in the drop zone we do have Nottingham Forest in 18th, West Ham in 19th and Southampton rock bottom. No matter that top four is more in your dreams than predictions. Fair play. I mean, what's your top four? Look, I mean, I expect Man United to improve. I expect United to sign one or two more players, and if we do that, I don't think top four is that absurd. But look, I've always said that between third and sixth, that will be any which order. That could be anything. But I do think Arsenal will get top four for certain. And I just back United. Whether that's bias or whatever, I do back them. But let's get on to this week's fixtures. And first up, we have Aston Villa versus Everton. Now, obviously, both lost in their opening game. Aston Villa certainly the more troubling defeat out of the two. Against Bournemouth, you expect them to beat Bournemouth, and fairly convincingly, they didn't. And they didn't look great. Bournemouth were the better team and did deserve to win that game. I think Everton have signed really well recently. You look at, I think Connor Cody's a good signing, especially if they do continue with this three at the back system. Who else have they signed? I know they've signed a lot of players. They've signed that Diarra. No, Onana is his name, not Diarra. Onana. For some reason, I feel like they've signed somebody else and I can't think of them. I don't think they have. If they have, it's not on this list. But they've signed particularly well. I think Aston Villa... Gerrard's was great at Rangers. Hasn't really shown that particularly at Aston Villa. I believe Frank Lampard actually has a better record at Everton than Gerrard has at Aston Villa, given where both clubs kind of sat last season and where Lampard picked up this Everton team. You wouldn't expect that, would you? Gerrard needs to start getting results, and sooner rather than later for me. I think Everton, a lot of people have had them down in the drop zone. I don't think they will be. I think they'll be mid-table, and I think their signing just kind of make me believe that even more. I think Everton will win this game. I'm going to go 2-1 Everton. Look, people like Gerrard and people like to hate on Lampard. I think Lampard will show levels to Steven Gerrard. Believe me, Spurs will underperform. I've said I don't think Tottenham get top four. I'm an Arsenal fan. City, Tottenham, Liverpool and Chelsea, my hot take for this season is Spurs to finish second. I think Arsenal will win the Europa League. I don't think Spurs get top four. It's the history of the Tottenham. They always bottle it. So we got a 2-1 and a 1-0 in the chat. I mean, I could see, obviously I also went for a 2-1 Everton. I could see a 1-0. I don't think either team are going to blow the other away. I think it's going to be close. I do just think Everton will snatch it. As us, we will win 3-1 to Chelsea. As us, Chelsea will win 3-1. Well, we'll get to that. First, we have Arsenal versus Leicester. Now, Arsenal, I think, were very impressive opening day of the season. I obviously did a watch along for it. And I was very, very impressed with them. I thought they were very, very good. That first half particularly, they were very impressive. And I think you are starting to see more and more what Mikel Arteta is trying to do with this Arsenal team. They're a very, very young squad. But I think they're getting better every season. And they look dangerous. Obviously, Thomas Partey and obviously the allegations hanging around him are big. But looks like Arsenal are sticking by him and saying, while they're just allegations at the moment, we're going to use him. And he is a key player for him. And I do think Arsenal probably do win this game again. given the fact they have Thomas Partey, who is such a key player for him. I think Gabriel Jesus looks absolutely fantastic. I like their back four of Ben White, Saliba, Gabriel and Zinchenko. Then you got a player like a Kieran Tierney coming off the bench. That's great squad depth. I think Leicester are in trouble. I think their squad is just worse than it was last season. They've lost players in Lookman, who obviously returned to Leipzig on loan. They've lost Kasper Schmeichel now. And how can you not be worse when you've lost those type of players? I think Arsenal have got better. Leicester have got worse. I think Arsenal win this game fairly comfortably. And I like Leicester. I think they've got some good players. But I don't see a way in which Arsenal don't win this game. I'm going to go for a... I'm also going to go 3-0 Arsenal. I do think Gerrard is overrated and Lampard is underrated due to their teams. Yeah, I agree. 3-0 Arsenal, smoke show. Leicester took looking big trouble with them losing all their best players. Exactly what I said. I completely agree. Look, at some point Leicester must make signings and must do some deals. But will it be too late at that point? That's kind of the big question. Because look, all the Premier League, look at West Ham getting Skamaka from Sassuolo when PSG were interested. It shows the draw of the Premier League. So in the Premier League now, you can't just sit there and watch teams around you do business and then do your business afterwards. You do what Spurs did and get your business done early, so then you're ready and all your rivals can't take the players you want. I don't think Leicester have done that. Next up, we have Brighton versus Newcastle. I think this is actually going to be quite a good game. Obviously, both won and got good victories on the opening day of the season. I like what Eddie Howe's done at Newcastle United. I think Graham Potter is an unbelievable manager. And I've said that for ages. He's quality Graham Potter. And that's what makes this game so interesting. Because I think both teams could win and I think both teams could lose. So, if I had to kind of stick my neck out on one at winning, I'd probably say Brighton, given that they're the home team. But, I mean, as you say there, Abdullah, if that's how you pronounce it, I hope it should be. I'm not very good at names, so if it's not, I'm sorry. Both two teams, they are definitely on the up. And I think this is going to be a close game. It's going to be a good game to watch. I imagine it's a 3 o'clock kickoff, which is a bit of a shame. It is. So if you're in the UK, obviously you can't legally watch it. But I imagine that might be actually a good game to watch. So Brighton, I'm gonna go for a 1-1 draw. I think it's gonna be close. One thing I've always said about Brighton is, and look, I've heard that Undav that they signed this summer is meant to be a really good goal scorer. I don't know how legit that is, but that's what I've been told. I've never looked at that Brighton team. And I mean, Danny Welbeck looked great against Man United, so maybe he'll be the man for him this year. But I've never looked at that Brighton team and thought he will score you enough goals to guarantee you win games. I look at Newcastle and I think Callum Wilson, I can guarantee he will score 10 to 12 goals a season, and as such they'll win games because of him. I look at Brighton and I think they don't have that. I can't call this one. It can literally go either way. I wouldn't be surprised for any result. Exactly. I think we're all on this kind of the same wavelength when it comes to these games so far. So yeah, I went for 1-1. But like you've said, if it was 3-2 to 3-0, 1-0, 1-0, I wouldn't be surprised. Both teams are great, and both teams are suspect to a weird result or a great result. So. Yeah, I don't think anyone will be surprised by this game, so we'll try and be quick on this one. Man City versus Bournemouth. Does anyone think Bournemouth have a chance? Like, they did well opening day against Aston Villa, no doubt. But Man City are Manchester City. They are going to be up there for the Champions League. Going to be there for the Premier League as well. Bournemouth, they're going to be fighting for relegation. Man City are going to smoke them. You got Erling Haaland, who looked fantastic against West Ham opening day. He looked great in the Carabao Cup. Obviously, a few misses aside, he was getting into the right positions, and the goals were always going to come. They've signed the new goalkeeper in Neto, who I think might be a good goalkeeper. Will definitely be an improvement over what's his name, Travers, whoever the Bournemouth goalkeeper is. But it's gonna be a whitewash. I'm gonna go 5-0 as well. And to be fair, I no offense to Bournemouth, I think there'll be a lot of games Man City could win 5-0 this season. I think it will be Erling Haaland will win Golden Boot. Next up, we have Southampton versus Leeds. Now, I think this could be quite an open game. I think if you remove the two teams, this game screams the Bundesliga. Both teams are going to play high lines. Both teams are going to look to be on the offensive, press high. And obviously, it'll be clear that both these coaches came through the Red Bull system. Obviously, Ralf Rangnick I don't think Ralf Rangnick ever coached Leipzig, did it? No, Salzburg did he? But he definitely coached Leipzig, and obviously Jesse Marsch did both. It's going to be an open game. I do fear for Southampton. Again, similarly to Brighton, I don't think they have a striker who I can confidently say will score loads of goals this season. And I think Southampton will be around the drop zone this year. Leeds, I think they'll be about mid to low table. I think with Patrick Bamford, he will score goals. I like Harrison. I think he'll score a few goals. I think it's going to be a good game. But I do think Leeds do win it. We could see goals galore. I was thinking about maybe a 2-1. I'm going to say 3-1. 3-1 to Leeds. We don't need to fear Southampton. Fear ourselves that we might get 1 point out of 9. Well, if Man United get drawn into a battle with Southampton, then that is a worry. That is a big worry. But yeah, this is the same for the Brighton game. I wouldn't be surprised for any result because both teams are inconsistent. I think that's well put. To be fair, yeah. Yeah, it could go either way. It really, really could. I think Leeds look better than they did last season, and that doesn't come as a surprise to me. But we saw last season under Jesse Marsch, sometimes they looked great and sometimes they didn't look as good. So we'll have to wait and find out how they get on. Like I said, I've gone for a Leeds win though. Wolves versus Fulham. Now this game, look, I know I've said it for a lot of them, but it could be quite interesting. Fulham against Liverpool opening day looked fantastic. Mitrovic looked like a striker that we've never seen before in the Premier League. We've always known Mitrovic in the Championship will score you loads of goals. Mitrovic looks like he's come to the Premier League and said, I ain't messing around. He was absolutely on fire against Liverpool. He was causing all sorts of problems for Virgil van Dijk at the back. And with Wolves, they weren't great in their opening day, were they? Obviously lost to Leeds. I fear for them. I don't think Wolves particularly have a striker. Not Leeds, Wolves, yeah. So when you look at and think, at the moment, he will score loads of goals for you. I think Jimenez, when he's fit, maybe, is that guy. Although, when he came back from injury last year, I don't think he really was that. I don't think signing-wise, they've been unbelievable. I like their two centre-backs in Collins and Kilman. But transitioning from a 3 at the back, which they played last year, to a 4 will take time. Whereas Fulham, like I said, they looked fantastic against Liverpool. And if Mitrovic continues on that form, you get Andreas Pereira, who looked fantastic in that first half, continuing in this game. I think Fulham win the game. Here's the thing. Can Fulham play like that consistently, or was it just a one-off game because it's the first game back in the Premier League? And that is brilliantly put. They looked fantastic against Liverpool, but we've seen teams do that before. It's all about for Fulham whether they can continue that and find that consistency. Now they've signed some good players. They've signed a new centre back in Issa Diop, and I believe they've signed someone else as well. Have they signed somebody else? I believe they signed another centre-back, have they not? They signed Shane Duffy. So, theoretically, they could be centre-backs. Leno in goal now. Could be a great goalkeeper for them to keep them up. I think they've got a good team. Last season, they were great under Marco Silva. I think if they can, like you say, continue where they left off against Liverpool, they will win this game. But that inconsistency, as we've just said, is an issue, and it could be a one-off. And because of that one-off, I'm going to go a little bit conservative. I'm going to say a 1-1 draw. This is a huge game for Fulham. I think if they get a result, they can continue the momentum for the rest of the season. If not, they could just do every championship side. Well, yeah. And look, that is what Fulham is. Fulham are a yo-yo club, aren't they? Like, when was the last time they played Norwich, for example? Because both clubs do the same thing. They come up, usually win the championship, and then go down bottom. And then up and down and up and down. Because they're constantly doing it, they never end up playing each other. So, draw against Brentford, smashed by Liverpool 5-0. At the least, then a panic signing. I mean, look, we'll get to United in a minute, in a mo. Well, actually, we'll get to Man United right now. So, Brentford obviously came back from 2-0 down to draw 2-2 against Leicester. Great result for them. I don't think Brentford can be too unhappy with that. They've made signings this summer. Now, I think Damsgaard from Sampdoria is a good deal. Man United, well, we didn't do great against Brighton, did we? I think at the moment, United do still need signings. Do I think signings will come? I do. I do think signings will come. Obviously, the deal at the moment that looks like it's going to happen is Adrian Rabiot from Juventus. I'm not 100% keen on the deal because of his form at Juventus since he's kind of moved there. However, at PSG, Rabiot was very highly thought about and was very, very good. And if Ten Hag can bring that kind of Rabiot back, I think he could be a good signing for the price. United do still need to make more deals, Rabiot or not. I think United should win this game. To put it simply, obviously we will do a match preview that we should be live for about 8 o'clock ish for that later on, but United should win this game. Like, Brentford are okay. Man United, regardless of what that Brighton result suggests, and I think you've got to look at that Brighton game with a kind of a pinch of salt. Brighton are a good team, and they will be there. They were good last season. I think they'll be good again this year. And people are talking as if Brighton are the Brighton under Chris Hughton, where they were rubbish and they were getting relegated or close to getting relegated every season. Brighton are very good. So, and Graham Potter is an unbelievable coach. So, I can accept, obviously, I'm not happy about the Brighton defeat, but I can accept it. Because I think you look at other games, like we were saying about Fulham and Liverpool. If after the opening day of this season, you said to me, all right, you can either draw to Fulham or you can lose to Brighton. I would pick the defeat to Brighton because I think a lot of teams will struggle against Brighton this season. With Fulham, if it is just a one-off and they'll go back to being rubbish again, like a lot of people think they might, and like we spoke about, then we will beat Fulham and it won't be too bad. So, I do think United win this game. And I think we'll 3 points from 6. It's not a terrible start. Then before we play Liverpool, I'm going to go for 2-0 United. We usually do quite well against Brentford. 2-0. I'm going a close 3-1 to United, but again, I wouldn't be surprised if Brentford got a result. I'm in the same boat. If Brentford get a result, I'm not going to be shocked at all. But United should win it. and I'm confident we will. 1-1, but United might win because they always do good against Brentford, and it's a must-win. Or this is Arsenal last season, 3 defeats. I mean, I always thought the Arsenal start to last season was massively overplayed. They were only 3 points off of what most Arsenal fans or most fans should have expected of Arsenal. But I agree, we have to win it. Who wants Arsenal to lose? I mean, I'm always up for the top 6 to lose, apart from for us. But I don't think Arsenal lose often anymore. Nottingham Forest versus West Ham. Now, I'm not 100% sure who's going to be available for Nottingham Forest. If that Freuler is available, I think Nottingham Forest will be a much better team. West Ham, they looked okay against Man City. Not great, not awful. I think they'll be okay this season. West Ham, they're going to be there for the Conference League again. I think Jesse Lingard in this game could actually be a difference maker for Nottingham Forest. First game at home, back in the Premier League for Nottingham Forest. That's obviously going to play a big part in the game. Will the fans get on the backs of their team and push them forward? Probably. Colbury's going to love it. I think this will be a really good game. And given that it's on a Sunday, I believe it's a Sunday. It is the Sunday. This game probably will be on the telly. I will definitely be watching it. Whether I stream it or not is a different question. But I'm almost certainly going to watch it because this game will be very, very interesting. However, like I said, Nottingham Forest weren't great opening day. And I think at the moment they're too kind of inconsistent. A mystery for me to really go for them. And interestingly, Hero, I've gone for the exact same as you. I'm going for a 3-1 West Ham win. I got 2-1 Forest upset, a bit like the Fulham game. West Ham 2, Forest 1. So we're all fairly, apart from obviously you, Abdullah, we've all gone for fairly similar wins. And to be fair, if Forest win 2-1 and it's a close game, I'm not going to sit here and act as if I'd be really surprised. Hold on, let me move this over here. There we go. The City ground going to be rocking, first game back in 20 years now. Well, yeah, and I think that kind of atmosphere and them kind of conditions will always bring upsets and can always bring upsets. Partly the reason why Brentford was so beat Arsenal last game of the season. Obviously, aside from the fact Arsenal were missing loads of players through COVID and whatever, when the first game back, when you got the stadium on your back, kind of pushing you forward, an upset is always possible. Right, I believe, is this the last game? No, second to last game. So, the penultimate game of this game week is Chelsea versus Spurs. Arguably the biggest game of the weekend. The Battle of the Bridge. And I think this game, there could be an upset. And I don't know if that's kind of possible, weirdly. Because I think a lot of people expect this game to be quite level, quite even. But at the same time, it could go either way. I don't know which way to call it, but I think one team might get smashed here. I just have a feeling that Spurs will go into the game thinking they'll win this game, and I think Chelsea might be a bit tentative considering they didn't do great in pre-season. I don't think they were unbelievable against Everton. I think this is where both teams will come in with kind of maybe the wrong attitude, which could lead to one team getting absolutely smashed. I'm worried for Chelsea, but part of me makes me think the fact that we are worrying about Chelsea do what Chelsea seem to always do, and just about us. We're Chelsea. We're this kind of winning machine, and just turn out a 3-0, 4-0 smashing. Like, that's kind of where I am. It's a derby. Chelsea will be up for it. They will. Sorry if I don't know what. I think the stream just kind of died for a second there. I don't know what you missed, but yeah, I agree. Chelsea will be up for it. 2-2 for me, but I can see a Chelsea win. Tottenham always lose to Chelsea. See? Like, Spurs might be in the form table might be better, but history says Chelsea. Home advantage. I'm going 3-0 Chelsea. There. I've said it. 3-0 Chelsea. Home crowd. Thomas Tuchel up against Antonio Conte. Both playing that three at the back. I think Edouard Mendy might have to have one of the games of his life. But I do think Chelsea will do it. 3-0. I'm going bold. I want a bold game. Bold. And final game of the game week, we have Liverpool versus Crystal Palace. Now, I think Crystal Palace are a good side. I think they look okay against Arsenal, especially in that second half. I think you could make the argument that they were the better team. Liverpool will win the game though, won't they? You've got too much in that too much quality in that front line not to win this game. Salah, Diaz, Jota, Firmino, Nunes, who looked great when he came on against Fulham. Surely Liverpool just have too much. My only worry for Liverpool is that midfield. With the amount of injuries they've got, I think that midfield looks a little bit white and maybe lacks a bit of quality. I think Fabinho's not creative. I don't think Milner or Henderson is particularly creative. And when you're then kind of relying on the likes of Harvey Elliott or Fabio Cannavaro, who obviously this is his first year in the Premier League, you are playing a bit of a risky game. But that being said, surely Liverpool win this game, and I think they will. If memory serves me correctly, they always do quite well against Crystal Palace as well. I'm going to go for we've got a 3-0, we've got a 2-0 in the chat. And they're the type of scores I'm feeling. I don't think they'll concede. I don't think Palace score. Beat Man City last season on a 4-game loss streak. I'm going 3-0. 3-0 Liverpool. There we go. Liverpool don't win this game because Liverpool have to win this game because if they don't, that's points drop to average teams and down 45 points to City, which is a very big gap going 2-0. Oh yeah. So yeah, we've got 2 2-0s and we've got 2 3-0s. Very, very similar. But yeah, I think there's no doubt Liverpool have to win this game because Fulham, they had to win that. They didn't. And look, Fulham aren't a bad side. Well, they showed that they're not a bad side, at least. When it comes to Crystal Palace, they need to pick it up because Man City won't drop these points. They will beat the Fulham. They will beat the Crystal Palaces. And I think you look at City. I think City beat Liverpool. So you have to, when you're up against such a machine like Man City, you have to win every game and hope for the best. And that's what Liverpool have to do. And I think they will do it. Anyway, that's all of the games. So I'll quickly run through the games one last time before we end the stream. So for Aston Villa, Everton, I've gone for 2-1 Everton. Arsenal, Leicester, I've gone 3-0 Arsenal. Brighton, Newcastle, 1-0. Man City, Bournemouth, 5-0. Southampton versus Leeds, 3-1. Wolves, Fulham, 1-0. Brentford, Man United, 2-0. Nottingham Forest, West Ham, 3-1. Chelsea, Spurs, 3-0. Liverpool, Crystal Palace 3-0. Fair enough. You're an Arsenal supporter. I respect that. Arsenal are a good side. Anyway, if you guys have enjoyed this, well, it's a stream, I guess. Please do hit that like button below and subscribe if you are new and you haven't already. That would be greatly appreciated. As I said earlier, there will be a match preview for the Manchester United versus Brentford game later tonight. We do these Premier League previews every week, so please do stay tuned for more. And yeah, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one in a bit. Peace.